Woo! 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 Ow! Love that money.
Follow your passion first. When I retired from the game, I sat there asking kind of all the wrong questions. What's the biggest industry I can get into? It's all the wrong stuff. And you got to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what am I truly passionate about? What do I enjoy doing? And when you feel that way, honestly, you feel like you've never worked a day in your life. It's the most fun thing in the world. You get up in the morning excited about what you're doing. And you got to be really honest with yourself about it. If you wake up in the morning and you're dreading going to work, dude, do something else. Do something else. And those are hard decisions to make. But when you make those decisions, it's a very liberating experience. And you'll find out that the rewards will come.
Wow.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope y'all day has been awesome. Wednesday, hump day. Just getting it started and out the way. I'd like to welcome y'all to season 5, Unfiltered. Of course, you know who I am. I'm Mr. Johnson. Thoroughly about to enjoy these topics we're about to bring to you tonight. Can't wait to get into them. As you know, all our fans and everybody that follows us out there, we're going to go through the same time. We're going to go through the same thing. It never gets old every night. Please share, like, subscribe, every platform. Go ahead and make sure that you do that. You know you like to. And we appreciate everything that you do for us. We are on YouTube. We are on Meta. And we are also on Twitter. So please go ahead, like, subscribe, get that video out here. And we take great pleasure in saying that we thoroughly enjoy and appreciate all the love and support from you all. So, as again, we got some great topics for tonight. What happened to Mac Reese?
I don't know.
What happened to that dude? All of a sudden, just disappeared. All of a sudden. All right, but anyway, we about to get into it tonight. So, we got Mr. Reese. I'm pretty sure whatever it is, he gonna get back on. But Mr. Reese is here tonight. And so on behalf of Mr. Reese, Mr. Hills, and Mr. Johnson, we got one of our favorite guests that's always on. I'm gonna allow her to introduce herself and this bad boy, and then we will take it from there and get started right into our topics tonight. So without further ado, go ahead, ma'am.
Hey, this is Kyra. I am here again today. As usual, happy to be on the show. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for having me. We got some great topics tonight. Hopefully, everyone can kind of get something out of it. We'd like to hear your side of it as well, hear your thoughts on each of the topics as well. So don't be shy. Go ahead and hit the chat and join in. Hope you guys have a great show.
Absolutely. So what we're just hitting up with some things about tonight. I kind of want to. Okay, yep. Okay, I got the text from him. So he's doing a reboot, and he'll be back on. But getting right into it. I was looking at the interesting story before we even get into our topics. I was looking at. It was about Master P. I'm trying to bring it up right now as I'm doing this. About Master P and his son. I don't know how much truth behind it. So keep in mind, we are not confirming or stating that this is factual information. Just a story that I just saw that was popped up and, as it come along. So right now, it's subject to you know what I'm saying, validation. But it is where it looks like him and his son, it's crazy what money can do with family. My goodness, man. Him and his son are having some words with each other. It's a reference to um, rap snacks. That's what it looks like. And just in case anybody, if you know, I've never eaten rap snacks. I've seen the chips everywhere I go. I've never myself had a bag of rap snacks. So
I have.
have you had? Is it good?
It tastes like regular barbecue chips or regular chips. It tastes like regular chips.
Okay. So, with that being said, it looks like Romeo is accusing his father of not paying him during this time frame. What he feels is due for him. So this is definitely different. Wow. So it looks like he's saying that it's been over 15 years. Wow, 15 years he have not been. 15 years he has not been given. I guess his fair share of the funds for rap snacks. So now they're going to the most worst place that you can go when you're trying to do this on a family dispute. You go on to social media, and I find this to be sad. It sucks. I can't even say nothing even worse about this. I think this just sucked totally for even. I don't like when people get on.
Oh, good people.
Yep. It's Mr. Reese. And actually, I'm gonna let one of our hosts go ahead and introduce himself too. He got back on. He's having technical problems, and I know y'all missed him last week.
Yeah.
We was praying hard for you, brother.
Oh,
you and the family.
I overheard and I felt it because I feel a lot better. But I kind of felt offended what you said. One of the hosts. I am the host. I am unfiltered. So don't disrespect me like that. Don't ever disrespect me like that on this show. I am unfiltered. Actually, make my box a little bit bigger because I don't like how you just said that. I am unfiltered. I've been here since it started. I'll be here when it ends. It's not gonna end, so we'll always gonna be here. There we go. Make me bigger. Damn. Show me my respect. My respect. Get that nice little cup on the corner. Yeah. Anyway, this your boy.
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Reese, 1/3 or 4th for that unfiltered. Please continue to share, like, and subscribe. We're back for season 5 officially because I am here. I am here. So now we officially back. So I don't know what they was talking about because my whole computer just froze. It took me out the game, but we back now. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. I don't care where you started because we start because I wasn't here. So let's get it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Man, we was talking about. He is so crazy, man. I missed you, cuz. Love you, man. It was talking about. We just going over a brief little conversation I saw just with some updates and some little bit of news. Talking about Master P and Romeo.
You know what? I didn't hear that whole. I didn't want to read it, but
yeah, it's kind of stories like that.
Yeah, to kind of touch on this, like Master P is one of these guys that we looked at that actually made his own money and bet on himself and did things the hard way, right?
Right.
And when you had, Romeo wasn't near as famous, but he ate off of his father, and it's fair to say he ate off of his father.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nobody would know what Romeo is, but worked for his father. Now, I didn't read the article because I didn't want to. I wanted it to be true to me that Master P did something grimy to his son.
Right.
Now with that being said, I just don't appreciate the entitled culture that, hey, I'm supposed to have ABCD or I should be ABCD because of who my father is or who my mother parent is. At the end of the day, once you become an adult, everything is on you. Now, prior to you being an adult and what you have, like that people take for granted. But at the end of the day, once you're an able adult, what you are is what you are. And for most cases of those kind of individuals, they end up being entitled and unappreciative because they don't understand the opportunities that they do and still have versus things that they want, don't want to do. So I don't know that.
Nope, I agree with it.
That rubs me the wrong way. Like I said, I don't want to hear like, well, you've been ripping me off or you didn't pay me or whatever, man. And it's like
the sad part about it is that you like, man, this your pops. You couldn't did this no other way. Y'all family. Y'all couldn't do this no other way.
No other way. Exactly.
Like so you really felt the need to badmouth your father who you said has showed you business. So now your way is like, this is how I'm gonna do. And don't get me, and I'm a firm believer that whatever you do, if you do stuff in the dark, it's gonna come to light anyway.
Yes, sir.
You ain't gotta be the one to take the cover off of. I mean, this ain't that serious. This is a squabble matter between father and son. This is not nothing he's ripping off people and doing it. Kyra, Kyra, I see you over there biting at the tongue. What you think about it?
I think that Romeo is being a little entitled. Like I said, he wouldn't have been able to nobody knew who Romeo was until his father brought his name to the light and helped him, get out there like that. And okay, if your father took, some money and made sure that, like, you could look at Romeo and tell that he never needed for anything.
No.
His father was clearly taking care of him with whatever money that he claimed that he didn't get. You're a child. When Romeo came out, he was like, what, 11? What is an 11-year-old gonna do with all of that money? Like, you can't even open up your own bank account. You can't manage your own money. I mean, your dad did. I think that Master P did what he thought was best for his son while he was a minor.
Yeah.
That boy never needed or wanted for anything. He ain't skipped no meals. He always had the best of everything. He was always on TV. He was there for his son. He was always with his son. His son was always with his dad. So I don't understand why Romeo want to get grown and decide that his father owes him something. You're a grown man now.
You know what I'm thinking? In all transparency, I haven't really dove into the whole entire story, right? A lot of it has just been like, that's why I said we're not, right now, you heard it straight from Unfiltered, we are not confirming details. We're not taking sides on this. What we're saying is that this is just a story that kind of came up and, kind of just piqued my interest, not because of the possible, the ramifications of it, but because it's a father and son, and we're supposed to be family. This kind of, it rub you a different way. I agree with both of y'all said. Just that, it seemed a little bit of entitledness on behalf of Romeo. And if we're gonna be totally honest, Romeo was never a good rapper. He was put against Bow Wow from the jump, and I was like, it was never a contest. Your father just had a lot of money, a lot of backing, could really push you into it. It's almost like a political thing where you just had the money backing. And guess what? If I'm Master P, I'm doing the same thing with my son.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can understand that. It's like more of I feel like for me, I wouldn't even want nobody to be in the business, because if it comes to light that that's not what happened, the damage been done.
Right.
You put this out there about your father. Now your father got some type of animosity.
As he should.
It's just
even just looking at like Romeo was on a team with DeMar DeRozan at UCLA. Had no business near a court at D1. And it's like when you go back to it, it just shows that where money will bring you, no matter who you're talking to. You know what I mean? It's like once money get involved, it's like, dang, so your father, the guy that got you your career. I never heard of none of his siblings. You know what I mean? I never heard of Master P Jr. Whoever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This is brought up for you, and this is your alley hoop. So whatever you are as an adult, that's what you wanted to do. Romeo could have did a lot more. So but to kind of get off Romeo to get to the topic, it says a lot when a child. I'm sorry, when I don't want to say child as he's like under 18, but
yeah,
when somebody wants to put out their parent, and especially like for money or to put an image on them like they're this kind of monster, kind of says a lot about them, because it's how was Romeo 30?
Yeah, he got to be. Romeo got to be like,
so he's about 30, like, and you bring this out about your father, who everybody looks up to in a matter of business, in a matter of bet on yourself and intelligence, and you want to stay in that image for some money or something that you're not obligated to. And like I said, it could be possibly, but from where I stand, I don't think you're obligated to it.
I feel like when you're brought up in an environment where not only are you born into money, but you have parents or a parent who is directly involved in your life, and you started very young. This parent have taught you how to invest your money, how to do business, how to do all of these things. He gave you all the tools that you needed to be successful on your own when you become an adult. I feel like that child, now grown person, should be well on its way into their own, like they should be able to keep their money flowing. They should be able to make smart business moves and decisions and things like that, because they've been given the tools from childhood. You've had more than enough time, more than enough training, more than you sat there firsthand and was able to see it with your own eyes, how business is run, how to open a business, how to get your name out there. You have the money to do it. You have all the means, all the tools that you need to continue your legacy, to continue being successful. What's the reason for standing there with your hands still out? You're grown as hell. Like, use what he taught you. It's time for you to fly now. Spread your wings. Use everything that you've been taught and continue to be successful. I just feel like that was a slap in the face. Like,
it is.
I don't know. I wouldn't know how to feel if one of my kids did that.
I know what I would have did. He would have got the bank cut off. But
and Kyra, go ahead, Brady.
Oh no, that's it. I'm just saying I would have got the bank.
And Kyra, kind of back off to what you're saying, right? When parents have that kind of money or have that kind of stature, they don't want to see their kids be rich. All they want to do is see their kids go out and get it. All they want to do is see if they can apply what they learned or what they have and go get it on their own. Don't mean you don't gotta be a successful rapper like me. You gotta be or entertainer or entrepreneur or business men and women like me. I just want to see if you can go ahead and get it. And all this stuff just points at, hey, well, one, it's tough. It's tough. So can you handle it? And then once they feel like, well, I don't want to handle it, you should do it for me. And that's just the obligation come into where, hey, well, you took something from me.
Right.
After 18, and my mother never did a single thing for me, I appreciate everything she done prior to
that part.
And we did, and like I said, we ain't had everything, but she gave us time, she gave us love, and anything that she could spare to give us by herself, she did. And she's still giving and sacrificing to this point. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, prior to me being coming out of her to being 18 years old, that was her responsibility, and I appreciate everything, single thing she did. It's not her job to do anything after I became an adult.
Right.
So, I mean, for grown adults to expect another adult to do something for them is kind of sad.
Yep, it's definitely sad. And man, I mean, I agree with everything y'all both said in regards to it. And the crowd agreed with it too. So
Yeah.
that's that's cool beans. So we spent enough time on Romeo and little Romeo, and Romeo, you 33 years old, my brother.
Gotta make them elbows swing.
You got a father that got that kind of knowledge.
Romeo, make them elbows swing.
Bro, little Romeo, like, yeah, this me. But hey, let's go say, and let's get into these topics. Hope they get it solved out, man. I hate seeing family members go with each other. But that being said, we agree with it. It's so crazy. Again, we just thank y'all so much. Everybody out there, continue to like, subscribe, share every video. Appreciate every single one of y'all. As we get into these 3 really good topics for the night, God willing, we want to get through all of them. Get some really good, clear thought on them. One thing I want to share before we get started. I remember we were, this is supposed to be a very, very great time of year. And guess what? For me, it is. It's an outstanding time of year. Oh. For me, unlike other people, I believe every time of year is outstanding. I'm not a big holiday person. I believe that if you love me, you respect me, you're loyal to me, you do it 24/7, 365, 366 in the leap year. That's me personally.
You entitled. I need a break from you.
Yeah, so no.
I need a break from this brother.
I just think people should do it all the time. You should be loyal, loving, respectful all the time. I'm a firm believer. You show it. And in this season, with everything going on, with so much people coming in, so many spiritual and all these attacks and things going on, it just, first of all, this year, and what I can't even remember in my lifetime, not being 40, Christmas actually falls on a Sunday.
Right.
And I got geeked because I'm like, man, well, I'm going to be in church and I'll be praising the Lord. I'll be grateful. I mean, that's the meaning of the season. We're supposed to be praising God for this incredible gift that we got in the form of Jesus that came down here in the form of man and flesh and died and paid and took our receipt and said it's on me. Now, there's a lot of churches out there, and I just don't get it, who are saying they're not going to have service on Sunday. And that boggles my mind. Now, even though it boggles my mind, it's a no judgment zone. But I would tell people like this. If you are celebrating this holiday and your only reason for celebrating it is underneath the pretense of you receiving something, I think you need to reevaluate yourself. I think you need to reevaluate a lot of things. This was never about the receiving. It was about the giving. It was about the giving of life, to say, I love you that much. I care about you that much, that these people are this redeemable. These people I love so much that I'm going to come down here in flesh so I could see the reason why they do the things they do. I could see why they kept falling into so many different traps. I could see why their mindset might have been this, might have been that. So I could prove to you that it was a lot harder for them than what we initially thought. And then, with all that being said, I love them too much. They're absolutely redeemable. I'm willing to put my life on the line for them. And I don't understand it, to where somebody would say, man, we're not going to do church. Pastors, leadership, in every synagogue, let me tell you, anywhere, whether it's the Catholic Church, whether it's It's like whatever you believe in. To gear around, whatever how y'all want to state, but how you want to put things differently. Because in the end, you all gonna find out y'all was serving the same God in the first place. Y'all all just had different names, you had different things, you had different intricate things that y'all said differently, but we serving the same God. We really are. And one day when you find this all out, I pray you find out sooner than later. But let's remember what this meaning is for. Every year during this holiday, I've always done one thing for my daughter, especially in the last 6 years, is that we go down to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen and we serve people. And at first I thought maybe it was just for me doing it for her to show her, hey, it's people out here that don't have everything that you have. But what I realized, I was doing that for me too. It was doing for me to always let me remember that it's a blessing to get another opportunity on this earth. And maybe even so more for me so this year than ever. I've come with the understanding of knowing that, man, we have got to understand that we are all connected in this bad boy. So one person homeless is one person more that should be homeless. More than just toys that you're only going to play with for a month and then get rid of and look for the next toy.
Sound like my kids.
More than just the occasional gym shoe, anything that you could get that you're going to replace with every the newest, because we've been taught so easily to always be in the frame of wanting. How about wanting to give thanks, wanting to be appreciative, wanting to give this glory to a God that always supplies, whether you want to believe it or not. Some people like to say, man, I'm going through this and I'm going through that. And it's absolutely, we all go through things, period. We all going through them. Everybody got a story. Everybody got a situation. And I'm not writing it off. I'm appreciating it. And my prayers go out to every single one of you. But man, this is, this day, for all you places of worship out there, y'all need to seriously rethink talking about canceling service. We should all be in this bad boy every day, thanking God every day for what we've been given. But especially on the day that is observed to be for him, even though we'll never have a concrete day of what we know exactly when he was born, that's not the point.
Right.
What we is saying that we should always be in a grateful nature for the things that he's allowed us to have, not experiencing this lack. No matter how tough it is, let me tell you something. Someone's got it tougher. Someone would trade your issues for their issues in a drop of a heartbeat. And I know that y'all both know this, and then I'm done, and we'll get right into the topics. But this was just kind of on my heart to tell people, because we got to change our mindset in life, period. We got to change our mindset. We are getting some of us are just fighting so away from God. We're getting away from the things of God because it don't fit into our construct. And what I mean by that is that some of you want to be able to do everything that you want to do, but not suffer any consequences or anything after it. That's impossible. That is against the laws of nature, period. That's against the laws of science. It's called cause and effect. That don't exist. The only place that don't exist is in the grave. And guess what? It still don't even exist there. We have got to get to a point where we stop running away because we're being told that something is bad for us by someone that loves us, contrary to being told it's good by someone who is only out for themselves. And what I mean by that is people that mean you no good whatsoever. They could care less if you live or die. They're only out for themselves. All I would say is this, in this season, in a season where people got relatives dying, we are coming off some of the hardest years in any of our lives, period, off a pandemic. Nobody was around for the, you know what I'm saying, the Black Plague. Nobody was around for the Spanish flu. Those things happened years, you know, the dust from them people's bones are dried. We are coming off some of the things where we were alienated from each other for a long time. And you would think we would have grew with so much appreciation. But it seemed like we got worse. We got more angry. We got more racist. We got more sexist. We got more money hungry. People just got more angrier. So in this season, as you come across this season, coming to this Sunday and every day, even starting off now, man, have a greater appreciation. Do some soul searching. Stop looking at other people, talking about what they're doing. Everything starts with you. It should always start first with you. You should be looking in the mirror. You should be reevaluating yourself. You should be taking accountability for the things you have done wrong. We can't control what other people do, but you can absolutely control what you do. And what I have decided to do is stop playing the blame game in society. I won't do it anymore. I refuse to do it. What I want to do is I want to be grateful for every single thing that I have. I am grateful for the circle of people that God has blessed me with, because I damn sure don't deserve it.
You don't.
And he could have been like, nope. He's saying, even in everything else that you do, that's stupid. Everything else that you do, he's still saying, yup, I want to give him the best. That's how much he loves us. As bad as we are, as incomplete as we are, as inconsistent as we are, as much as we whine, as much as we complain, as much as we do everything, he's still looking at us and saying, I want them. I want her. I love him. I love her. So I'm going to still give him my very best. So in this season, man, let's really get to a point where we grab hold of God and not run away from him. So really rethink this about this services, y'all. Stop being convenient to people talking about they want to be home with their families and they want to open up gifts. Them gifts are going to be there. What you should be celebrating is the gift of an incredible life. A life that gave up his life for us. If you can't spend just a couple hours doing that, again, you got to reevaluate yourself. Now, and all that being said, we're going to go right into this one. And this is in regards to a lot of things we've been talking about. It is weird because sometimes in the future, none of us know what's going to happen, right? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen 2 days from now. And next year, we don't know. But why it seems that people are so afraid of the future, especially when they put out here in the media all the time, interest rates going up. And I know Mac, Kyrie, we didn't talk about this. Interest rates going up could be as high as 15%. And I know a lot of young people may not know what that is, but some of them may do. 15%. That's unprecedentedly high. People don't know about their jobs. People don't know about family, life support, and things of that nature. You know, and a quick shout out to my family. Love every single one of y'all. To my cousin Joyce, my cousin Minnie, and every single one of y'all on a part of the Edwards family. We lost our auntie, Georgia. And let you know that when your prayers and everything is out for you. But just like that, we're not the only family that's experiencing this. Somebody took somebody off life support somewhere around this world. So when all of these things is happening, what can we do? What advice can you give to people? And this is our first topic. How can you handle the uncertainties of the future? So if you're here today, on our first topic of the day, again, just out there, please comment the uncertainties of the future. I don't know which one of y'all want to start it out, but you know, if y'all can, is it anything? One thing just to start it off. Is it anything that maybe had you thinking like, oh man, I am so concerned about this? And it sometimes can worry you at time frames.
I mean, everything you pretty much brought up is a concern. Like our jobs can say tomorrow, hey, we don't need you. Like I said, a family member could pass away that we meant to spend time with, that we meant to call, and they pass away. And all those things aren't certain. But to kind of get on the topic, I just think at the end of the day, that's living life like that is I don't want to live like that. I get, hey, we have to prepare for the future, like investments, getting our children ready for their adulthood and other things like that. So I look forward to those kind of things, but I can't live every day saying, hey, I can't go outside, or I have to prep for this because I don't want to die, or I have to make sure I do ABCD because I want to make sure that I feel like I haven't done it. You really can't prepare for it. All you can do is honestly live the way that you feel is right, or that you feel that it's going to make you happy, and then just live with that. And that's why if it's people that you love and you need to reach out to, do it. If it's people that you want to hang around with, do that. If it's people that you don't want to be around, it's going to waste your energy, do that. But at the end of the day, I just feel like always preparing for the worst is not living, in my opinion.
Oh man, Kyra, what you got to say with that? I agree with you on that, cuz what you got to say to that, Kyra? How about you?
I feel like whenever you're thinking about the future, you really don't know. None of us knows what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
All we can do is think about what could happen, what might happen. But it's not guaranteed those things are going to happen. And a lot of times when you are in that mind frame, it can drive you crazy. Mm-hmm. Because what you're really doing is taking fantasy thinking and you're confusing it with reality. And what happens there is, for instance, if I sit here and say, man, I wonder if I'm ever going to get married. Dang, I want to get married by the time I want to be married in the next 2 years. And then I just take that and start thinking about what my marriage is going to be like, how many kids I'm going to have. Am I going to have a boy or a girl? And then 2 years come and I don't even got a man. Now you just set yourself up for disappointment for nothing because you were fantasy thinking and allowed that to overtake reality.
I like that word, fantasy thinking.
Yeah, that is a good one. I like that.
And you get to that point in time,
fantasy thinking,
and see that God had his own plans. Life happened. Everything that you thought and fantasized about was not real. It doesn't work that way. So now you're setting yourself up for disappointment. You're setting yourself up for hurt, being angry about things. The only thing you can't even control the future. You can sit here and say, tomorrow I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow, and it's gonna be an outstanding day. I mean, okay, for a minute you're like, okay, there's nothing wrong with thinking positive. But then you go to say, yeah, this gonna happen, man. I'm gonna have this for lunch, and I'm gonna get off early, and da-da-da-da. And then tomorrow get here, none of that stuff happened. And you might have a really crummy day tomorrow. Or tomorrow get here and you don't wake up. Yep. Then what? So the only thing, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not guaranteed next year. So why even harp on those things? The only thing you can control is the here and the now, the right now.
Yes, ma'am.
And being that you here right now, you're breathing right now, you're living right now, why not enjoy that? Because right now, yesterday, you may have done some things, but yesterday is gone. Today, you woke up and you got another chance to get things right. You're not promised that.
I agree with that. I agree with it. I think what you said, I pulled a lot out of that. The fantasy thinking, I love that one.
That was
I love that. I think that's a really good term that you put in there. I see this with Angie. Hey Angie.
Hey,
Angie. Hi Angie.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Hey, it's your birthday.
Here we go. And she says, live in the present and trust God to handle your future. That's how I try to live my life. And it's funny that both of the things that Kyra said and that you said, Matt, all y'all did is scripture. It's just scripture, because God said. I mean, look at this. I'm pulling this from Philippians 4:8, right? I'm reading this in the Message Bible because a lot of people love the Message Bible. It don't matter. It's the Word of God. It says, summing it all up, friends, I say to you, do best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious. The best, not the worst. The beautiful, not the ugly. Things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice what you've learned from me, what you heard and saw and realized. Do that. And God, who makes everything work together, will work into his most excellent harmonies. It's basically, in that scripture is saying, is that, don't give no thought about tomorrow. You can't control it. Like y'all both said, you can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. And he said the best that you can do is exactly what you both said. Is to live your life to the best ability, do what you know is right now. Because even in the same token as you just said, hey, I'm going to have a good day, that's a possibility. You speak to your day and you say what it is. One thing I definitely don't say is, man, this is about to be the worst day ever. Because all it does is compound. And I'm a living witness to that. As soon as I say this is the worst day ever, compounds, you be like, oh God, every day, like, oh, what else can come around? Be careful about it because you can't do nothing with it. But it just happens. You have those days. And like I begin to tell people, because it's nothing wrong with you having a day that's got disruption in it. I say, yeah, it's some things that's going, that's got, we got to work on in this day. But I'm feeling great. I feel good. Like, I'm good. You can't help the things that go on through the day, but I can help how I'm feeling and how I react to it. Sometimes you got to get yourself to 5 minutes, or like I like to call the 45 minutes when you get home, because you get yourself to 45 minutes because you're like, look, I don't want to take out any of the things I had going on at work out on the people I love, because y'all had nothing to do with what went on at work. So let me get this 45, let me digress, get it off of me, and then we'll go back to it from there. But I thoroughly, I love the fact that y'all both just hit on it, that not living your life, and I hope people heard y'all out there, not living your life worrying. That's the biggest I heard from both of y'all, that not living your life worrying. I love that. And this fantasy thinking, these unrealistic expectations you'll have for yourself. Because I personally believe, just like y'all, when you're thinking about the future, you're neglecting the present. You're saying, oh, I want to have this, or I'm going to have this big house. And we're not saying there's nothing wrong with putting plans in place and doing things like, we're not saying that. But don't miss, you got to look past, I know people say you got to look past the forest despite the trees. I say just the different. I say, look at them trees. Look at them deer. Look at them bears. Look at everything. Because we need to learn how to enjoy the journey. We don't take time to enjoy the stuff long enough to be like, man, what I realized in life for myself is that I could go And I mean that financially, I could go anywhere I wanted to go. If I wanted to go here this vacation, I want to go this here. And I could go by myself. But I don't want to go there just to see it in terms, and let me explain that a little bit. I think I explained that wrong. What I mean is that what makes things even more special is the people you share it with. So that's what I appreciate with. Like I could go, somebody could say, oh yeah, I went to Cedar Point. Yeah. But if I go to Cedar Point with my fam, it's a different story. It could have been rained out. But I know that with these people that I love, enjoy, and we can have fun with, it'll still be an unforgettable time. It'll be one for the books, one that we could talk about and have those memories forever. Like I could go to Las Vegas. Yep, lose some money. I go to Las Vegas with the fam and the people I care about and have an outstanding time. Might not have done nothing. But it's always about special times are special because of the people that you share it with. And I believe that it goes the same thing about uncertainty of the future. I know one thing. I don't know what's going to happen 2 days from now today, but I know I got an amazing group of individuals that no matter what happened and what occur, then I'm good. No matter what it is. And I think that's what we should be focused on. So I appreciate both of y'all on that. That was a really good one. Yeah, it's simple. And it's just to be a little bit more, I'll give y'all that scripture in the NIV. Philippians 4:6. It says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything pray and supplication. With thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Which basically saying, if you are concerned about something, if something is worrying you, let it be known to God. Don't you worry about it. Don't you trip about it. Don't you be anxious about it. I'm telling you, because I walk through this bad boy. He's saying, just trust me. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Just trust me. Tomorrow going to take care of itself. Which basically means God saying, I'm going to take care of that. I got it for you. You ain't got to worry about that. Right here. I know you. It look like you want to say something, because there you go.
No, go ahead. I'm waiting for the next one to come.
There we go. And we going right to it. You good on that? You clear? You good?
I'm good on that.
Good, Kyra. You good?
I'm good.
All right, cool beans. Well, let's get to this next one. This is interesting because, man, we got a lot of stuff going on with this. I know if you get a chance, I'm probably shouting out another podcast, but it's all good. I like to watch Comedy Hype. Really good podcast. You get a chance to check it out. And yeah, that's a good one, Angie. That's one of my favorite. One of my favorites too. Absolutely. What happened is that what we got going on, and I'm stuttering. For some reason, especially in the last coming years, they feel like it's been an all-out onslaught against black men and black women. And I'm not talking about from the outside. I'm talking about almost like a relationship civil war between black men and black women. Of course, we don't have to say it's everybody. Okay, we don't have to say that. We don't have to say it's everyone and every black woman. But the ones who are really at war, they're very loud. It's a small percentage, but it's very loud. And they're having extreme effects on the ones who are not saying nothing. So somebody always told me that there's two types of people. It's the people that sit back and do nothing. It's the ones that complain and make all the noise that cause ruin to a society. Yep. So within our own community, we've having these big discussions. We having women saying that, there ain't no good black man, or for whatever reason, same thing with black men saying ain't no good black women, and this don't go on no other race. This is what makes it a very alarming, because it don't go on in other races. It does not go on. You name me one race that dogs out their own women, their own men. You won't find it. They're not saying that it ain't bad men or women, but man, Go ahead, Ms. Reese. I'm about to go ahead.
All right, so here's what I think about that. As a race, I do feel like we do that. I think that's an American thing. I just want to kind of
okay. Western, I can go with you on that. Western,
I think it's an American thing. I think when it comes down to like looking at people care about themselves and how they think, but we're going to talk about our people for right now because I think how people look and view like their women and themselves. I think it's an American thing, like how we may think that, hey, if a guy does something and all right, let's say a guy does something and a woman says, hey, he's doing something wrong, whether we agree with him, then it's like we hate women. And if we don't, it's like, all right, well, you're not a guy, you don't understand. Or it's like, wow, you a guy, you should understand. So just looking at it from those perspectives, we're brought up more now than before to try to be independent. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, well, my thoughts, my matter, and how I think of something is what's important versus
I agree with you on that.
Actually doing, like what's right. So how, like, for example, if a woman were to hit me, right? She hits me. I can't hit a woman because if I do, then it's like, all right, well, hey, you're wrong. It's a way that you should handle it. But it's like, okay, I should accept that a woman can hit me, but I can't hit a woman. But vice versa, let's just say if this is a woman and a young lady is hitting on her son, she will expect her son to defend himself and for nobody not to have a problem.
Now, and before you even go further with that, I want to speak because Kyra has a son. How you feel about that aspect? Because that Matt bring up a good one. That is one of the ones that's the most popular. That, hey, whatever you do, just don't hit no woman. And I know guys that are dead.
Mm-hmm.
I know guys that have been really jacked up and hurt following that aspect. I'm just being honest. And I know, what do you feel about your son? Your son, woman attacks him, or while he trying to walk away, while he trying to be look, I'm trying to go away. What is your feelings on that? When is the threshold? That's a good one. I gotta get myself on that one. There we go. The threshold for when it's like, okay, now you keep putting your hands on me. Nah, I do, hey, all right, now hold on.
Well, of course, I teach my son to never put his hands on a woman. My son is the only male in the entire household.
Mm-hmm.
With me being his mother, he has 2 sisters, and even our cat is a girl. So
you don't make things better.
But being that he does have 2 sisters and he has a mother that he loves dearly, I've always taught my son, how to treat a woman. But I've also taught him how he should be treated as a man.
All right.
I taught him that a woman, just like a man is not, just like a woman is, or a man should not hit a female has no business putting her hands on a man either. And I tell my girls that as well. Don't hit no dude because you think that he won't hit you back, because there's some dudes out here that will knock your block off and not have any cares about it.
Yeah.
So as far as my son, one thing I tell him is, you got mama and sisters for a reason. Now, before I put this out there, I'm a woman of God, but I'm a woman of God who was raised in the hood. My son, I stand 10 toes behind mine. My son don't never got to hit no woman. Now, he can restrain her. my son, he's on the wrestling team. You know, he know all kind of restraint moves and stuff like that. I would never tell my son just to stand there and let a woman batter you, but you better not hit her back. No. You can restrain her and get away from her. Don't go back to her. Restrain her, get away from her. If you got to, call the police, because assault is assault. You know?
Whenever you're done.
But if there's an issue where, in no way am I promoting violence, this is just me and my son in my household, how I brought my son up. If there's a situation where this woman is attacking you in a way in which you feel like you have no other choice, or she's coming at you with weapons or something like that, man, pick up the phone. You got 2 sisters and you got a mama. Your mama is hood raised and military trained. I will show up to that boy. I will show up to that boy. You go ahead and leave the house. Me and your sisters got her. That's just like it's the same thing. Like when he become a grown man, do you think he about to get to stand there and let some dude pummel me? No. If my son find out about that, you best believe my son about it, or something happened to his sister, one of the sister's boyfriends or husband or whatever, decide that he want to box one of his sisters like a man. He's not about to get just stand there. You best believe he's going to show up for his sisters. He got sisters and he got a mama. Let us handle her. If you can get the legal system involved, go do that. You know, call the police, because like I said, assault is assault. But if you're in an immediate situation where you like, look, you might get here before the police do.
So
do what you got to do, but just don't put your hands on a woman, because for one, the way the police and the law is going to look at it is a man is naturally stronger than a woman. For a man will do more damage with his natural hand to a woman than a woman will ever do, than a woman can do to a man in most cases with her natural hand and with her natural strength. So a woman punching a man in the face is not going to be the same as a man balling his fist up punching a woman in the face. That's how the law is going to look at it. That's how the police, the courts, judge, all them, that's how they're going to look at it.
Well, I want to say this before we go any further, because I don't want to get too far off the topic.
And I want to go after you. I want to kind of
because I don't want to get too off this. We're not so much talking, because it's a part of the question. I want us to get on here and it be we talking about battered and defense. The aspect and what this topic we'll be going to talk about, because I did fail to talk about that, is the slow death by separation, which we'll be talking about is what's going on between the differences in the war within black men and black women that are causing us to be separate, and how can we bring it back together? So we want to bring that resolution. But in regards to you're saying, I know Matt gonna say it too. I see right here, it absolutely system is broken. It has double standards.
Yes,
we know that, and it's cool. Mac, I know if you want to clean up what she said, but I do want to stay on top.
I'm gonna get right back to that. And so with Kyra, I appreciate everything you said in the past 2 to 4 minutes. And what I want to say to that, from being a young boy to a man, right? You had to basically explain and put down a blueprint of what your son needed to do if a woman was to attack him. And then you kept explaining what he should do if a woman continues to attack him. That wouldn't happen if that was your daughter. And that's the double standard that we have to kind of settle and live with, is that we have to deal with and accept all these things before we can probably feel like we're doing the right thing. Now, to circle back into the topic, right? it kind of puts us in a spot to where it's trying to show that we don't need each other. We have to depend on the laws. We have to depend on certain expectation of people, jobs, the government. We depend on that versus each other. So all these things, I feel like it's put, like child support, food stamp, government assistance. I feel like all that stuff is put and pent against us so that we can't depend on each other. So it's like, why would a black woman need a black man in the household, for financial, physical, whatever reasons, when I have this other source that can help me and I don't have to listen to this guy? That's what. Why, would a man want to be married to a woman or, a black woman where he feels like, hey, I can do A, B, C, D and still feel like I can do what I want to do. So it's just that comfort of like us not wanting to actually accept each other or want to be with each other because we want the other freedoms. That's how I feel. So therefore, we can say, well, hey, black women don't listen to us because they want to feel like they're in charge, and some black women feel like, well, hey, I'm in charge because I really don't need you. So it's like that's where everything kind of splits up, and like I said, in my opinion.
Where I think another and where that some of that kind of stems from, and this is just my opinion, we have a lot of young girls now being raised, and more I see it, I'm starting to see that it didn't start with the young girls now. It started maybe even in our generation, where women have been raised to be independent.
Right.
And where, although there is nothing wrong with being independent, we were raised to be independent, to be able to live without a man. And I'm not saying everybody, but I've noticed a lot of women have been raised to where, oh, well, make sure you got your own this, and don't ever let no, if a man ain't making this and he ain't making enough to tell you what to do, and things like that. And not only have they been taught that verbally, they've seen it. They've seen the women in their households bring different men in and out of the house. If there was just one man, they've seen these women, they've seen their mothers disrespect their father or their stepfather or whoever the man was, talk to him all crazy outside of their neck, and not listen to them, undermine their authority, attack their manhood, and things of that nature. So now you have a bunch of women out here who feel like, oh, I don't need a man because I can do this, I can make my own money, and I could do that. All I really need a man for is one thing, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. Because without a man, you might as well say goodbye to humanity.
Right.
Without a man, you can't make more people. Without a woman, you can't make more people.
Yeah, I'm about to say we all in the same boat.
Each other. Yeah, and men hold a whole different, they play a whole different role. You guys have a whole different value that you bring to the table that women are not. We weren't really built for that. That's not to say that we can't do it. I mean, because every day women are out here getting out here making their own money. They're fixing cars and everything like that. But that's not what we were. Let the man be men. Let the women be women. Don't, learn. We need, a lot of the women need to learn how to respect their men, appreciate their men, the men they have at home. Stop comparing them to other people and expecting them to be like Joe Blow over here, accept that man for who he is and appreciate that man for being a man, because without him, like, you're not, I don't know this. I mean, we cannot. We were made for each other. God, that's why God made a woman and a man. That's why He took a rib from Adam and made Eve. We were meant to be each other's helpmate, and the men now feel like the women are so masculine. Now the men are starting to feel, I won't say intimidated, but they're not really trying to settle down. You know, they're not, because for what? Just to be emasculated?
Exactly.
Just to feel unimportant in the household? It's not enough that we have people already trying to take our men out of the household. They're trying to take our and lock our men up. They're trying to, they're putting our men in the grave. And now what has that caused? That caused a whole bunch of our women to be on welfare, depending on the government. Oh, well, like, for instance, if you have children, especially if you have them outside of wedlock, and you're struggling, you and the father are not together. Maybe he's in the kids' lives, maybe he's not. But you're struggling, so you decide you need a little bit of help, so you go apply for some food stamps. Guess what you got to do? You got to give up them baby daddies' names, because they want you to put them on child support before they even help you.
Yep.
Before they give your kids, you need Medicaid for your kids. You gotta where them daddies at? You need to put him on child support, and then we will help you. Instead of just helping. That's doing us more damage than good.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, sure is.
And what make it is
I don't disagree with none of it.
Yeah, and that's all good. I'm glad we know the problems, and I just this is my standpoint on that. It's the problem is that men and women are holding other people responsible for their bad choices. For a man to say there's no good women out there. Well, before I even go that far, because I'm gonna go real quick for you. I absolutely agree that this is a Western mentality, because in other aspects of the world, it's really not like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of that, what they call Americanized aspect of things, is kind of making its way overseas and stuff. The Western way of thinking, because it's not like that every other place. There still has it's a level of respect and understanding between them. Some places might be a little bit more, what you say, a little bit more militant, and some people say a little bit too old-fashioned and emasculating. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. What we're talking about is over here. We have put grave importance or deadly importance over aspects of men and women that have nothing to do with promoting life within the relationships. Has nothing to do with it. So you have a man that would say there are no good women, right off the bat. But to be more personal, say it ain't no good black women, man. Every black woman I got, they gotta be like this. They ghetto. They this. They everything else. Oh, she too bossy. She thinks she can do like this. Oh, she out here making money. This. I'm like, oh, let's stop right there. How about this? If every woman you're running into is doing that, how about we evaluate you? What type of women do you like? Because evidently you're attracting the same type. This is what I never understood. We are magnets. All right, this is spirit. This is real. This is real talk. This is spiritual. You are magnets for what you are really, what you have in depth, ineptly inside of you already. So if you are always attracting a certain type of individual And it seems like they start off good, but then all of a sudden this happened. You need to start making account, take account yourself. What is it about you that you keep attracting these people? So to all the men, I'm like, no, every woman is not bad. So it's funny that you'll get mad at a woman or a black woman who says, man, I want to be able to know that man can support me. Right? But then you go get yourself white girl, Latino girl, and everything else who ain't even been there with you at the beginning and is with you because of your bread. I think that's hypocritical. How you mad at the woman who, a black woman who's been with you? It says that, man, yeah. Why shouldn't I benefit from being with you? I've been there with you. I've been there with you through the struggle. And you're mad at me because we should have that shared benefit? I've been with you when you had nothing.
Yeah.
I'm the one who was building confidence in you. I was speaking life into you.
Yeah.
And then you drop me because you get a blue-eyed, that you get a little salsa dancer, that you get maybe an Asian woman who you feel like is more, whatever you say, master, submissive. And they do it all the time. See, I'm calling, ladies, be proud of me because I'm speaking on both sides. And this is the problem with most men. That's why I don't like using that phrase, it ain't no good black, that's a lie. What you're attracted to, you need to reevaluate what you're attracted to. Maybe your standards aren't good. Quite frankly, why would you want a woman who would have you out here looking bad? Why would you want a woman who don't force you to be accountable? Why? Why would you want that? See, the problem is black men and black women. Again, I don't have to say all because we know it ain't all. But the problem is that the ones who making the most noise are the ones who are the worst. It happens all the time. The squeaky wheel makes the most noise. The problem is these individuals complain about only getting bad men or women, and they are bad individuals themselves.
That's a fact. I agree.
You're bad individuals yourself. You can't even weigh out your own options. First of all, no man, and let's just be honest, no woman, self-respecting woman wants a man that she can't trust. A woman wants a man that when he say he's going to do something, he does it. Period. I'm going to take care of you. Do it. I'm going to make sure you all right. Do it. There ain't nothing wrong with that whatsoever, fellas. There's nothing wrong with that. No woman wants a man she can't trust. She don't want it. All right? 2, when a man gives you his last name, and this is real. This is why, we talked about this several times. Women control the sexual aspect of relationships. Absolutely. 110 agree. When you're single, you control. Let me say this again.
One more time. There you go. Bring it back.
When you are single, women control the sexual aspect of relationships. Men control the aspect of being in a relationship. What this means is that when a man gives his last name, this is the most ultimate way he shows vulnerability. It's because he's saying that everything that I am and I have, I'm giving to this woman. That's what happened when you have your name on it. That's the signing of the contract. I'm giving you my last name. So that means whatever happens to me, anything, it all goes to you. I'm giving you everything of me, which means I even lay down my life for you. See, this is the part in Ephesians that a lot of people forget about because women never make it past the submission part. And some guys don't make it past, the submission part. The issue is when a man says, man, I'm giving her my last name. I want to marry her. I want to give her everything in my life. That means he's giving up himself. That's his vulnerable aspect. I'm giving you everything of me. When a man comes after you, when he pursues you, he wants you. It don't take men a long time to figure out what they want, especially when it comes to wanting to be with a woman. He sees a woman. Women, I want y'all to really understand this, is that he see a woman, he says, man, I want to work this out with this woman. Be aware, because a man is you're going to know where a man's heart is by what he's committed to. So when he's committed to you, he'll wait for you. You know what I mean? Man, I'm dropping gems. I'm dropping gems. When a man, you looking at a married man over here, and you mind if I use you? Cuz let me use you. Let me use him for example. He wanted his wife.
No, I didn't. I'm joking. I'm joking. No,
yeah, you do. Crystal, that man love you. That man would jump in front of a moving train for you. In a heartbeat.
Downstairs and kill me. He don't want that woman.
He would do anything for you. He talking junk. You already know that.
Nah, she know.
This man would do anything for his wife. This man loves his wife so much that he waited for anything that he wants. See, this is the part that guys don't get. They call it simping when you take care of your woman. We ain't talking about dating a whole bunch of women and trying to do everything possible to get in their drawers. That's a whole different type of individual. That's trying to conquer and steal. That's what a thief does. The problem is that so many of you women mistake chivalry for thievery. Period. It's theft. So what y'all do is y'all see a guy that's willing to say anything and anything to take from you. You talk about his chivalry. No, he's a thief. He's a thief by nature. All he wants is to do is steal from you. It's the aspect. When you have individuals like a Puff Daddy, and I love this topic. Puff Daddy, they talk about him, talking about, he always have this girl, that girl. Ladies, this man has said in I don't know how many ways he don't want a woman. He don't want a main woman. He wants to date who he wants to date. I saw this on an episode of wherever the name of the city girl is, Young Miami.
Young Miami.
On her show, she asked a question, and she's from that point should have understood where she stood at. She said, are we in a relationship? He didn't disrespect her. I want y'all to go back and look at that video. He didn't never disrespect her. He said, man, you know, we are what we are. In other terms, is that you're not my woman, but as we have fun, this is what I want to do. And I reserve the right to do whatever I want to do when I want to do it. Right? So to him, $200,000 a month for a woman may not mean nothing. To me, shoot, I'm like, oh, I am not paying that's paying for your time. That's hooker stuff. But in that term, this is what he could do. It's nothing for him to spend. It's showing him life. Quite frankly, I think P. Diddy might be, something else on the real, but I don't want to get away from that point. But the aspect what I'm trying to make out to let you women know is that men, as I stated, like you use my cousin for example, as a married man, what did he do? He got everybody together. He wanted to profess his love for his wife. He proposed to her in a huge setting, not to show off, but that's how big his love was for her. He like, I want to confess and I want to let the world know this is the woman I want to marry. This is the woman I want to give my last name to. He goes out every day to work, to support his family. And his wife works too. But I know right now, he'd be like, hey, babe, you don't have to work. I could take it on. That's the type of man that he is. He's not out here trying to say, I'm going to work to keep my woman in bondage. Because so many women think that now. Oh, he just want to have control so he can call all the shots and everything else. Like, what? Are y'all that stupid? To the point where a man wanted to make sure that you don't have to deal with the daily issues of this terrible world, this horrible workforce, even if you're working for yourself, that he wants to say, no, I'm going to deal with that because I don't want you to be subjected to that because I love you too much. I'd rather go out here, take all the slings and arrows and come home knowing y'all fine, knowing that my peace is going to be at home with you and the people I love. See, that's the aspect where if you've never been or seen or experienced real love of a woman or real love of a man, where you get confused. And that's pretty much where our society is right now. We've never, ever, in many homes, seen real love. All we've seen is different levels of lust. All we ever seen is men who use women and take off. All we seen is women who have a list of, if he can't do this, to basically say that if he ain't making money, I ain't with him. If he can't support my fantasy lifestyle, I'm not with him. Man, on the other hand, if she can't support my fantasies, peep the same thing. I love that word, fantasy thinking, that Kyrie, you gave me.
Kyrie killed that word.
But it's fantasy thinking that we have on both sides for some black men and some black women. They want a fantasy lifestyle, and a man want a fantasy woman. What has led to that? And I'm quoting something that Max said a long time ago. If y'all peep out for our listeners, porn, I'm going to say this twice, porn has created this unrealistic expectation of what women should be. Men think women should be coming out this bad boy like you should be dressed as a cable man and come in there and have sex. It should be like that all the time. It should be you doing this, you doing. I'm telling you. You want to know who else I know? It's another. I'm being.
Lie.
But it's the truth, and I'm gonna tell you something because I learned this a long time ago, and I peeped it out. And when I did, I was like, "Wait a minute," because I'm guilty of it. See, when during sexual intercourse, a lot of men saw women do this kind of thing where they put their hand on a man's stomach to try to let him know to stop. What happened is that men were watching porn and thought that meant, oh man, she enjoying this. What that means is that, dude, you're doing something to hurt her. And she wants you to slow down and take your time. And what's happened is that this fantasy that they've built out in porn has made these unrealistic aspects, and men never learned how to please their woman. They only learned how to get everything they wanted out of sexual experience themselves. So the man going there, they didn't heard and seen all this other stuff. You never thought about how to please the woman in the situation. That's what porn did to men. It did that so much to men where men, like, they'll go have sex. They'll watch porn, go have sex again, go watch porn. It's almost like they could constantly keep fulfilling themselves while at the same time thinking they're getting this fantasy from women. That's why men so easily go back and forth to different women, because they're looking to be satisfied. And you'll always be disappointed in the woman you're with, right? Because you know what happened? You have sex. Oh, I'm bored with her. Let me just go to somebody else. Oh, I have sex. I'm going with somebody else. And guess what? Unfortunately, fellas, it started to be like that for women, because women started watching porn. And then all of a sudden, what happens when you start dabbling in all these different things, man, people that got so much confused and so many scepters, they looking for any way possible. They're looking for the next bigger thrill. You have some women that didn't have vibrators on so long, they couldn't do anything if they had a real thing inside of them now. It's almost like they're immune to it. They didn't vibrate it so long. You know what I'm saying? It went crazy. And it's just the truth. So then with that aspect, you got women. Women who have been, I'm not saying men ain't affected by social media and reality TV shows, but undoubtedly, women tend to be more followers than men do when it comes to things like fads and things that's popular. What happens is that now they got into all these shows. They see these women. What they do all the time on reality shows. Now they fussing, they fighting, they drinking. Fussing, fighting, they drinking. Fussing, fighting, they drinking. This is the way they handle everything. So now every time you see women, subconsciously, the majority of these young girls, that's who they going after. That's who they targeting. They go after these young girls. You got 30 to 30 plus year old girls acting a fool
depression
on TV all the time. And now they acting like this and doing this, and it's become popular. They think this is the way you're supposed to do it. They think it's popular when you have a show called Basketball Wives and they all divorced and none of them ain't never been
right.
Right.
So now they think it's that's cool. I could be. That's where that term wifey and hubby come from, and they ain't never been married.
Right.
Like, bro. And then the other aspect of it, is that these women, they don't take accountability. Ladies, I'm not saying men don't, okay, but listen to me closely, because this is gonna be one that's gonna be a little hard to stomach. But no, I'm saying it out of love. Women tend not to take accountability more than men, and what I mean by that is that what happens is that they'll always say the reason is this. Again, not all women. But what happens, they get so used to playing the victim. Even women have pointed this out in women. They get so used to playing victim that they lose track of reality, that they had something to do with the situation. It's like, come on now. Everybody ain't going to be bad. Like, come on now. You attracted to the same guy, but you mad because you're getting the same result.
Mm.
You this is what you do. And think about it. And what we've done on this side is that good guys have attempted to try to be with these type of women for whatever reason. You want to be with bad women, which means the good guy got to establish what he's talking about when he think of a good woman. But what happens is that she get a hold of a good guy, she feed him a dream. Because most good guys have this thing called the hero complex. See a woman down on her luck. You're like, man, I got to help her out. And then you fall in love with becoming this hero complex. You saving her. You're giving her another situation. The aspect of it is that happens is wrong is that this woman needs to fix herself. And you can't do nothing about fixing herself. She's got to want to do that work. So what happens? She normally retreats because for a while it'll be all right because it's something different. But she's going to retreat to what she's normal to. And she's familiar with. Same thing with guys. They get this good girl. They're like, oh, man, I'm good with her. She do this. She there supporting you. She good. But she not that freak you always see in porn. Or these freaks that you see in the strip club. Or these freaks that do all this other stuff for you. So you would go cheat on her, feeding this stupid masculinity thing that says, I hear even what's this guy name? Dr. Umar said this ignorant crap. And he said, well, when I have a wife, when I do decide to get married, I'm going to have 2 black queens. I'm like, what?
Well, I think it contradicted everything he talked about.
It contradicts everything he talks about to me. And he going to say, because they have to understand the alpha principle. Stop that crap. Oh. We ain't talking about no alpha, beta, gamma, meta, whatever Greek civilization y'all want to use. Stop that ignorant crap. Because it takes an alpha man to have the discipline to be with one woman. It don't take what effort you think it takes for a man to be with a whole bunch of different women outside of Viagra. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. A man, when he loves a woman, it's about discipline. There's nothing that makes a man alpha is the amount of discipline and dedication he has to everything he has in his life. He's disciplined, even when if they want to talk about just the other stuff about it, fighting. He's disciplined to the point where he trains. He's dedicated to making sure that he can subdue his enemies. He's dedicated to protecting his kingdom. He's dedicated to taking care of his wife, his kids, and everything that surveys, period. So when all you guys talk about this alpha crap and y'all only associated with sex, you're ignorant. You're flat out ignorant. It takes discipline to stay with one woman. It takes discipline to stay with one man. That's why, scripture-wise, God says the closest thing to the relationship between him and man is marriage. He says the closest thing. It's the exact example. It's God saying, I'm loyal to you so much that I lay my life down for you. And then he's saying for the woman, in the aspect in this point, that man is like the bride, saying, man, just trust me. And it's saying the exact same thing. As you lay your life down to me, it means how much I love you. And as I submit to you, it means how much I love you. And the problem is we don't understand that. And that's where we get in this great separation from. So in other words, what can we do to get it back? Right? What can we do to get it back? How can we get to this point where we repair some of the things? Well, of course, it's going to have to start somewhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Because it wasn't always like this.
Right.
When you got good fathers like Mac Reese, when you got good mothers like Kyra,
Yes, sir.
and people like myself who are putting examples in front of the and several different others, just putting an example in front of your children and the people that you love the most of how you're supposed to treat someone that you love and how you're supposed to operate, that's a start. Because our kids, our women, and our men have seen too much of the bad aspect of it. When you got a father like Mac Reese, when you got a husband like Mac Reese, who is completely dedicated. One, he got God number one. That's a big one. He got God number one. He trusted. If he don't know, he pray about it. How I know? Because not only this man is my cousin, I know what he does. He's constantly seeking God's face about what is going to be next. He's always want to make sure that he's not trying to be a dictator. He always trying to make sure that he's doing things the right way for his daughters and for his wife. Not only just that, for his friends and his family. He's always seeking it. See, that's an example of a man. Not a man just saying, look, I'm a man. This is a decision I'm going to make. That's not being a man. We've been too many false aspects. Then you got someone like Kyra, who's strong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the word independent. I like the word responsible.
Mm-hmm.
She's responsible. She can take care of the things, even in the absence of someone who neglected their responsibilities.
Go ahead. Keep talking about it.
But the same aspect, she's willing to let a man come in who proves himself worthy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, ring it. Yeah, go ahead and ring it bell for yourself. All right, that's too many. That's enough.
Yep. Proves himself worthy.
Not too many, Mr.
To
Johnson.
show that he can do, that he can go in there and be trustworthy to do the things that he said he'd do. To treat her right, have the example set around her kids, and have the whole example. Because it takes a lot. Keep in mind, and y'all, I know y'all both can speak on this. It takes a lot of trust to trust somebody with your life. That's your woman too.
Touch my kids.
In anything. But that's your life. I mean, everything that's in your life that you cherish, it takes a lot to trust in that. So what they got to do is exactly what we said. We have to change this aspect. The other part of it, what Mac, me, Kyra, and a lot of other guests on our show have done, y'all need to get counseling. It's got to be some form of counseling that we got to get, because it's too much hurt going back and forth between men and women, especially within the black race. We got to get the help, man. We got to get the help. We got to stop blaming everybody. If you keep having results over and over again, you got to start saying, I got to find out something in me. Y'all got to find out what's wrong with you. You got to begin loving you. You got to begin the program of processing and getting yourself corrected. Because if you could have did it on your own, you would have did it a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And you got to pass this along, not only to your children, but every individual that you come in contact with. So what that means, realize that it's other people watching you. Set the standard for what you want to know is fine. Stop saying that the only way that is me saying, oh, it ain't no good black women, then I go get a white woman who act the same as the black woman who I said ain't no good. Something ain't right with that. What she do? Oh, man, she charged me to take accountability. Didn't the other girl do that? So why was you mad about that? See, it's something wrong with that. It's a seed planted to say your woman wasn't good enough for that. And don't get me wrong, love is love. We not talking about that. We talk about the people that consistently say there's not good black men and not good black women, and they happen to be black. And that's false. So, in those terms, we have to stop saying that. We have to stop shaming. Now, this is the only time you'll hear me use the word shaming. We got to stop shaming the good black women and the good black men to saying that they're boring, to saying that they are low value. That's one term that, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, but that's one term I wish he just did not use. And in the sense of what he was trying to do, because he was talking to a set base of people. And this is the thing that people forget about. He was talking to women who said they wanted millionaires.
Yeah.
I don't use high quality and to say a millionaires in the same sentence, because every millionaire ain't high quality. That just means you just a millionaire. He was talking to those women that was looking for those guys like that. Pretty much gold diggers. But what we're talking about is that Stop putting men in the same group talking about if he ain't making $200,000. It's a man that's making $50,000 a year, excellent credit, taking care of everything he's supposed to take care of, got his own house, got his own job, can take care of his kids, that ain't out here all over the place, that could thoroughly take care of yourself. You have to weed out your expectations, and you have to stop trying to come to the table with a wish list, and you ain't changing nothing on yourself.
Right.
Fact.
And that's men and women. Guys, the same thing. Stop telling these women all these lies. And what I mean by all these lies, oh, girl, you most prettiest girl I ever seen. You tell them everything they want to hear till you can get what you want to get, and then you just throw them to the trash, and then she's stuck for the next guy to try to reprogram. It ain't cool. And that's the problem. Now you got good women who trying to figure out what's wrong with them because they can't never get none of these guys. And then on the other side, to all the good women and the good men, stop liking all the bad ones. Give the good guy a shot. Fellas, give the good girl a shot. Stop going after because she out here. Stop going after window dressing all the time because you walk past, she's shaking her behind. No man wants a woman. Let's just get one thing straight. If you're giving a woman your last name, no man wants the whole entire world to know what your woman coochie and booty look like.
Yeah.
You can fantasize about it as you look and you walk through, because guys do it all the time. You'd be stupid to think that no guy is look at your wife and say, "Oh man, she's a beautiful woman." It happens, or he a gorgeous man. But the point is not for you to be all out here talking about putting yourself on display. It's a difference because we live in such an attention-hungry atmosphere that everybody want everybody else's attention. The attention that you should be wanting is just from the person that you're with.
That part, yeah.
Real talk. I can only imagine somebody come up to my, it takes restraint if somebody would dare enough to come up to my woman and say something crazy to her. Mm-hmm. I can only think of Mac if somebody came up to his wife to say something to her out of the side of his face. Now, it's a different story. They by themselves. Y'all try to shoot his shot. She say, "I'm married." He like, "You know what? Hey, you have a nice day." Ain't nothing wrong with that. Go about your business.
Anything else after that? It's my turn.
Yeah. And that's just unfair to Mac. So I just think with people, how we can solve that issue in regards to the separation, because it is slow death. We are experiencing the slow death. And what I mean by that is that relationships are critical. People need to stop saying that relationships, we can do this on our own. No, it's not good for man to be alone. It's not good for woman to be alone. Mm-hmm. We talking about the destruction of our culture is at hand. I'm talking about the excellent part of our culture. And just like Max said, it's a Western problem. It's a Western problem over here because it's spread to other races too. They just don't, they're not as vocal. They don't put their stuff out there as much as they put ours.
Yeah.
Because it's got, trust me, you got white guys out there that the women talking about, if you ain't making this, you ain't crap. And it's coming over here. So, and then vice versa. You got all these different things, but the only way that we're going to survive out here is we understand and take value within our own race and stop looking at each other with such disdain and stop trying to compete with each other. Your success is my success and vice versa. Yeah. Your victory is my victory. Mm-hmm. You over here sick, I'm here in your corner. I ain't getting up and leaving because the chips is down. Y'all got to start remembering them vows and stop saying it like you just reading over like a, your medical, like when you get your medical benefits, you get it like, okay, whatever. I got benefits. No, you need to take it seriously. Sickness and health, rich or poor. And you have to be honest. Y'all got to be honest about this. And if you can't do it, don't waste that person's time. Be real. Rather you break their heart right there than break their heart slow through a long, drowned out, loveless marriage that comes without hope.
Yeah.
Where we at? We on that 2 thing. And we get to this last one real quick.
Yeah, this is the one.
And
let's get this one started.
I'll do it.
There's something in this topic I want to go ahead and.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna why don't you go ahead and you I'm just gonna give them the introduction to the topic.
Yeah, go ahead and do the introduction. Do the introduction I got from you.
Is the culture. We've heard that so many times, right? Everybody talk about, man, we doing this for the culture. We doing this for the culture. And it come to a part where you try to figure out what exactly what y'all mean by the culture. When do we get to the point where some things in our culture we become honest about and say, no, I don't represent that culture. It's a particular video, but we can look at everything. It's time frames where if you speak out against something that we know is wrong, and it happens to be our people involved, we end up getting labeled Uncle Toms and things of that nature because we don't want to have accountability for the things we do wrong. We've done it so often. Like I know we brought up Kevin Samuels, and this was with Dr. Umar. He had a video, which, Dr. Umar, is some things I agree with him with, some things I don't. Sometimes he kind of speak. I think he liked the sound of his own voice half the time. But that don't take away from the fact that at some point, everybody got their good points and everybody got their battles, right? Myself included. But he said in there where they was talking about an instance where Kevin Samuels, he had passed away. Y'all know earlier this year he passed away.
Yeah.
And so many women were saying, like stuff like, oh, that was his karma. We've had celebrity women say this about him. That's his karma. And I was kind of like weirded out, like, dang, man, y'all would say the man dying is karma because, some of the stuff he said. But the problem was they was ready to say that he was bringing down the culture as itself with the separation of telling black women that they weren't nothing. And he wasn't saying that. He was absolutely not saying that. But the problem was that Dr. Umar brought up a good point and said, hey, this man, before this man even came out talking about some of these things, y'all have never gave and made people be accountable in hip hop and the gangster rap culture and all the rest of these things. And he said that it was, what was it called? Selective morality.
Yeah.
Selective morality, meaning that on one hand, that's like if Mac do something, or let's say like me and Mac did something. Let's say me and Mac rappers and we were saying all this stuff. And nobody ever, they like, look, man, we like them. So they ain't got to be accountable for nothing. They can keep talking about what they talk about. Right. But then another aspect, another race or something like that does something, or another black, because you don't like them, now they is in fault. Oh, they got to apologize. So it's like, what do you say is hypocrisy. And I'm going to let Mac, I know Mac want to go first because it's burning. So I'm going to let him go first. But what do y'all think about this? The culture, man. And, when are we going to get out of the hypocrisy that we have for not making some people be accountable for some things and telling others that they need to be?
And here's the thing, we never look across the board. And one thing I look at when it comes down to stuff like this, we talk about the culture, who should be held accountable, who should be responsible, who should be apologizing. I look at pure intentions. I look at intentions. That's the first and only thing I look at. Second thing I look at is accountability. If, like I said, it gets to that point. And I have a few examples to go ahead and I'll talk about that. Like I'm gonna skip this Kevin Samuels and the gangster rap because it, we talked about correlates the same thing, right? One person I had a problem with particularly that I have a problem with is Candace Owens. I can't stand the ground that she walk on. But a lot of things that she do say, she has a point. She's right about certain things.
Right.
One thing that I can see where she comes from is that what I can see that she comes from is that how she wants to view a family and how others should view a black family is how she look at the Huxtables. Like, hey, they're a middle class family. They don't indulge in all this negative stuff, and that we could be good people just how society can look at a normalized American family, like I said, society.
Right.
But she doesn't like how the urban community, like I said, this is our truth. Like, hey, we grew up in the hood, we like rap music, we like certain things that we indulge in, and that's what we're brought up to, to like. So when she talks about certain things that, like, certain artists or certain people that we look up to, I kind of had a problem because it's that, okay, well, since we don't have these tools or we're up in this kind of environment, then you aren't this kind of person. And like I said, just looking at that, it's just pure intentions. Last week with the whole Deion Sanders thing, right, where he selected a university that he wanted to go to. As far as coaching, that paid him more money, and everybody selected that he's the bad guy because he wanted to pick a better opportunity for himself, because he wanted to basically get more eyes and ears out to people out in Colorado. Granted, it's a higher paying job. Granted, it's a better opportunity. But we selected villainize him because of what? Because we feel like he's not for the culture. How do you feel like somebody's not for the culture because they make a decision that you think is for the culture and that he didn't make? So I like I said, I don't agree with a lot that Dr. Umar says in those regards. But in that aspect alone, I feel like we select who we want to be villainized because of decisions that we think they should make. But then we look on the flip side, the same decisions that those kind of individuals make, we will go ahead and make. I think using that Deion example kind of really gets me, because we can say his intentions was to get, more money and more notoriety, which 98% of the people would have done the same thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's kind of backwards to villainize this man for simply getting a better job, which we want more blacks to get those kind of jobs, but yet when he gets the opportunity, it's like we villainize him. So I'm just on a selective morality thing that it seems like no matter what, you're gonna make somebody upset, and this is why I feel like our culture is where it is at this point. We all gonna be, just because we have separate identities and opinions doesn't mean that we can understand each other, but it'll never get to that point, I believe.
I agree with you on that. I agree with everything that you said. I just, Kyra, I'm interested in what you aspect, because I know that you heard with the Deion situation, and just I know that you got several different other examples. What is it that makes you? I don't want to say upset, but what makes you say, "Look, I understand this aspect, but come on now, what's wrong is wrong." I know we all had some situation where we like, look, man, I love, I'm black, man. I'm never gonna trade my people, but at the same time, we got to stop hiding fugitives. We got to be like, hey, man, dude, you in this community, and you bringing more harm to it than ever. Why should I hide and protect you? It go back into what we were talking about. I know the conversation me and you, Kyra, had not too long ago. I'm gonna put you in the front, gorgeous.
Woo.
But what happened is that
look at that smile, girl. I see.
So when we were talking about how in culture sometimes black women would not call police on black men because they were afraid of them getting hurt by the police and stuff of that nature. Which, remember, I and we had a tense conversation about it. We had a tense one, and I asked you because I knew that you've been through something of that nature, and then after hearing what you said, I said I could understand that a little bit of it. I still felt like that was, again, we have to stop hiding fugitives, because if a man is putting his hands on you to the point where your life feel like it's about to be taken away, no, it ain't no, I'm scared of what the police gonna do. He deserved everything the police gonna do to him, because he didn't care about your safety. Just like if a woman try to run you down with a car, stab you, or anybody try to do bodily harm to you, outside of them having a mental stability or disorder or something like that, where they out of their org, even if they still need to have some kind of police or something restrain them. I'm not gonna not call because we think we doing right by saving him. Oh, he stole the car, man. Man, don't call him, man. You don't need no more black man in prison. Well, stop doing stuff to get in prison, brother. Stop stealing from your own neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stop stealing cars from your own neighborhood. Stop stealing radios. Stop, it's like Robin Hood. Robin Hood didn't even rob from the poor.
Right.
So it's just crazy to me when I hear that. I think one of the biggest problems, I think it's hypocritical, is that in one aspect, you talk about police beating and doing harm to black men and black women, but then we ain't doing our own part in our own neighborhood.
Exactly.
And these people that is our neighborhood that have old people unable to walk down their own block, man.
Right.
I got sick to it when I hear stories about 60-year-old, 80-year-old women being sexually assaulted. You hear me? 60 and 80-year-old women being sexually assaulted by these young guys as they come in the house. It ain't enough for you to rob them, but you rape them, and you telling me y'all want to hide them? That's for the culture? Give me a break. Dumb, because I'm stopping from cursing.
You gonna let me answer the question?
Dumb individuals should be.
You'll let her answer the question.
Flat out.
Went on the rant page.
Yeah. I went on the rant because that made me mad. It get me mad because I think about an old woman who 80 years old and can't walk, bro. Getting sexually abused by some 20-year-old teenage punk. They should be put out in the middle of the street. I'm for martial law. I'm for community justice. He should be in the middle of the street with his head blown off.
Damn. Okay.
To send a message. We don't play that in our neighborhood. If that was Italians, if that happened in a mob neighborhood, they didn't allow drugs in their neighborhood. Now, don't get me wrong. They'll kill you. But if you brought some drugs in their neighborhood, they do some horrible things to you. Like, man, don't bring that up here. They have words to say, keep that in the black neighborhoods. Don't bring that to our neighborhood. But I digress. What do you find to be that aspect that makes you say, come on, man, now look, we got to call a square in the black community?
Okay.
If this show says, Mr. Johnson, don't you dare harass me.
You're not doing it yet. Okay. So, I mean, that's exactly what I was trying to hit on. I mean, you said a lot of what I was going to say, but what makes me feel like that is just, for one, black on black violence. I think that the movement of Black Lives Matter probably would have been taken more seriously if Black people showed that they really believe that Black lives mattered. It seems like it only matters when somebody else in another race or another culture is taking a Black life. But when you have people when you have Black people attacking Black people every day, you can't even go to the gas station. I was just reading an article before we got on here about a 16-year-old girl who went to the gas station. No, she was 19. 19-year-old girl went to the gas station to get gas. And a group of dudes, she saw a group of guys, but she, just kind of wanted to just get in her car and drive off. But before she can even drive off, one of those dudes jumped in her car. It was a Black guy. Jumped in her car, choked her, and shot her. No reason. She was just there getting gas. That's it. She didn't say nothing to them. She didn't do anything to them. And it's to a point where, when do we stop hiding the fugitives? Because if it was a white man or a white person that attacked a Black person, then, we want to see justice. We want the judge to throw the book at them. We want them to throw away the key. But then if it's a black person that attacks another black person, then it's street code. Snitches get stitches. I'm scared. We all so scared. We don't want to, y'all got cameras to show what happened. Y'all doing all this, but then you don't want I don't want my name and nothing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing. But this is somebody's loved one. People are in their lives taken away for nothing. And no, it's not just black people, but we're talking about black people right now. We hide the black people when it's black on black crime. When when a black person steals from another black person, when a black person kills another black person, when a black person assaults another black person or rapes another black person, we hide them or be too afraid to open our mouths and get these people off the street.
Right.
But when a white person do it, or when somebody else outside of our race do it, it's an outrage. So why is it not okay? That's why this happens, because they're looking at us like, well, why is it okay for y'all to do that to yourselves, to each other, but it's an outrage when we do it? It's a no one's going to take you seriously. It's a contradiction. It's hypocritical.
Absolutely.
And
double standard, like you said.
Yeah, people are going to treat us the way that we have to teach people how to treat us. And if we don't have enough respect for ourselves, our own culture, our own race, our own women, our own men, our own children, then how can we expect others to respect us and to protect us and to give a damn about us when we don't do these things for ourselves?
Yep.
We're too afraid to do these things for ourselves. We're holding on to the street code. Well, guess what? Now they're still out there, and you could be next. Your daughter could be next. Your son could be next. Your grandmother could be next. Yep. And you still gonna hide the fugitive? You still gonna be too afraid? Then you still gonna use that same mouth to sit here and say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter." Well, where was Black Lives? Why didn't Black Lives Matter when that black man was doing that, or when the black woman was doing that?
True. I mean, I agree.
That's why they don't take it seriously. I'm not saying that Black lives don't matter, because they absolutely do. I think everybody's life matters. It does. But when it comes to Black Lives Matter, Black lives do matter. But it's not going to matter to anybody else until we decide that it matters first.
I agree with you to a certain point. I think Black lives still won't matter to other people. And I'm fine with that. I just want my people to love each other. Because if we stand up and we loving each other and we doing what's right, and we sending a message that we ain't playing games within our own community. If we catch you raping somebody, we catch you stealing with somebody, we sending a message to you. Right. I want to get all the bad A's out of it. So maybe we can start building up and become a stronger race the way we supposed to be. Get rid of all of them, because guess what? White folks still ain't gonna like us.
Right.
They still ain't gonna like us, and I ain't looking for them. I ain't looking for them to like us. But like I said, I agree with everything that you said, because that Black Lives Matter movement, they utilized black men as they target, but they had a whole different agenda. They were still doing all kind of other different stuff. And like when Mac just said, when the whole hypocrisy of everything is sad, because at the end of the day, while we squabbling over, hey man, what we need to do, stuff still ain't getting done. And we already know the things, like you said. We know that we got the highest amount of we have more black males in prison and females than we ever had in slavery. That should be an eye-awakening stat for any African American. That should wake your eyes up, because if you go back and look at that amendment, That's what they put it in there for. They're like, man, we can't do slavery, but you know, if we're prisoners, we can have them do this stuff.
Free labor.
So we should be looking at the stuff like that. And like, you know, like we said all the time, when we got people that move out of our communities, Detroit, this big, huge, beautiful city, some aspects, but what's that? South Side Chicago, West Baltimore, all these places where they got, you know, a high concentration of African Americans for the most part, and even Latinos, even Southwest Detroit. We put that in the book, right? We put them in the South, you know, in the book. But what happens is that they have this distinction that they say, let the animals kill the animals. And we just got to get to this point where we got to say, like, look, if you're going to say that's wrong, that also got to be wrong. If you're saying that this person doing this is, you know, yeah, we know that police do blacks bad. We know it. We ain't got to say all of them. But we know we get unfair shake when it comes to the justice and things of that nature. But we want the bad cops out, and we want the bad people out of our communities too. Mm-hmm. I want the rapists out. I want the dope boys out. I want them, because we don't have 100 million, you know what I'm saying, 1 million dope boys. So everybody, we got 13 million black people on the face of the planet. Less than 1% of them are drug dealers. Less than 1% of them are rapists. We just got to get them out. We got to stop hiding them. To families that had rapists within their own family, don't tell about Uncle George. You're a darn lie. Tell what Uncle George did.
Right.
Oh, Auntie, tell what Auntie did. Mm-hmm. Auntie got little Sam and little Sam upstairs teaching them how to you know what I'm saying, eat out a woman. These are things that go on. And until we say, nope, get them out of here. Oh, man, come on, it's family business. No, family business should be the well-being of the individual that's a victim. Because the person that's the victimizer knows better. Nobody gonna tell me that somebody like, man, I got raped. No, something gonna stop. Man or woman, if you're doing the wrong aspect. I know family, I got people in my own family and people I know right off the bat that I know been victimized. And they still go to family reunions around these sick individuals. You got people that got raped to people down the street and nobody ain't told. We got to get rid of them. Nobody should be walking in fear in their own property that they pay taxes on, that they live at. I'm going to tell you, a woman should be able to walk down the street butt naked without the fear of somebody raping her. I don't care what she's doing. It's a decision. Little kids should be able to walk from the park and home without being snatched up or stolen. But unfortunately, we don't live in that society now because there's too many people that are selfish and don't have self-control. So until that time frame, we got to stop, like I said, being hypocritical just because somebody facing us, making us face to get accountability. Because that's all Kevin Samuels was doing with some women. Not all women, not all black women, people. He was saying, you need to be accountable for your aspect. And he was doing the same thing with black men. Y'all didn't hear none of the calls he had with the black men. They were calling there talking about, I can't find no good, or what you got. We got to stop having selective. We got to stop. This is going to be unpopular. And I told people this a long time, a while. Somebody said, well, how did you feel about Meg Thee Stallion? I said, Meg Thee Stallion, even prior to Tory Lanez. And my cousin is my witness. I said, the reason why I don't like Meg Thee Stallion, because I feel like she pump faking. I feel like she puts on a heavy persona to sell, and it sends a bad message to our young women. And there's a lot of women out there like that. And then they say that this thing talk about, I'm just trying to push women empowerment. There's nothing in what is this thing about women empowerment amongst black women where they trying to say that the only way our women can be empowered if you butt ass naked. If you out here shaking and twerking your behind, that if you constantly always looking for attention, like you on there, tits out, how y'all like my dress? I'm empowering women. You ain't doing nothing. You are not even empowering. You are getting attention for your self-absorbed ego. This ain't got nothing to do with women empowerment. What's women empowerment? Women empowerment is when you go out here and you're trying to show women and show them in the best state possible. Women that are becoming business owners. Women that are graduating. Women that are making waves despite odds. It don't take a lot of energy to get on here and get naked. And I have a problem with that when people try to put, they don't want to say it, but they try to put black women in a light that that's the only way that y'all be any good. Woman can be the CEO of one of the biggest companies, start one of the biggest companies in the world. Even still, they'll still try to sell her sex appeal over her accomplishments.
Yeah.
We got to stop that. And that's my issue. I don't like when people push that. These young girls already out here got so much they got to go. Mac got two young girls himself. And I know we getting late because it's past 2 hours, so I'll make this quick. But the problem is that we have to stop. We have to call people out. We got to start calling people out on the thing. Right there on the table. Hey, look, I understand that you trying to make your living doing this. And you know what? You're an entertainer. Do that. But you know what? Don't go out here talking about saying you want to empower young ladies and you're doing nothing to empower young ladies. All you're doing is making them face issues that they've never had before in their life. They already got self-esteem issues because there's so much lacking in their own households with seeing anything that's positive around them. Now you telling them that the only way they can be noticed is that they got to have an onslaught of sexual attention. They got to be overly and hypersexualized to have empowerment. That's not true. Tell these young ladies that they can do anything they want to do because they can do anything they want to do. Michelle Obama is one of the most famous women on the face of this planet, and she ain't twerked. Maybe she twerked at home for her husband, right? Going around the house and things of that nature. But this woman is not famous because she twerked. She's famous because not only her husband was one of the highest officers in the land, but the things that she did while she had an aspect of power. That's why she's famous, because she gave an example that a woman, especially a black woman, could be held into a different light outside of just her sexual appeal. Mm-hmm. And shout out to all the other women that could do that. And just like you guys, we ain't got to be just athletes and rappers saying negative aspects are that the only way that we can make money is to entertain people, because that's all we do for the most part. When people say they make their money, I hate when people say, man, we want black dollars. You get black dollars, but your big money then came from outside the country, because hip hop is nationwide. Mm-hmm. So when they see that and they see how blacks act, when you see them and doing their stuff, that's the interpretation of what they think black people are. They do their best interpretations of that. It's a joke for them because they could go back to being wherever they want to be. All we saying is that we want representation just as much as the rest of them. We want to see the black man that out there that's doing right things, that's doing the work in their communities, that's taking care of their families. See, what happened is that they ripped all that apart. They took off shows like The Cosby Show. Granted, Cosby was popping pills, making, drugging women. But despite that, they took off all the shows. Look what they did. Look at every black show that you had. They started systematically taking it off. Anything that showed them in a good light. Family working together. Men and women working together. And what they replace it with? This reality crap. Mm-hmm. Where people find storylines and they do all the rest of this mess and then tell you that this is the way it's supposed to be. And that's what people aspire to. And I hate when people, celebrities say, well, you got a choice. You got your choice to kids to watch it. But then in the same breath, you'll say something like, I want to inspire young kids. Which one is it? Right. So, that's all I had to say. That, and I know that we over, man. But, I appreciate everything we was talking about tonight. Again, we happy to see Mac back coming in for the 5th season. Glad he back. Glad all his family and everything as well. Like I said, we praying for him hard on this bad boy. Grateful to see you back, Miss Hills. We'll see her back next week. Hope all is well and everything of that nature. Kyra, I'm so grateful for you being on this bad boy, filling in the links for us. Appreciate you so much. Before we get out of here again, it'd behoove me to say, man, prior, the next time you see us, it'd be past Christmas. So, we want to tell everybody, Merry Christmas and have an outstanding holiday, whatever that you're celebrating, whether it be Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, everything that you got going on. Thank y'all so much, man. Hey, Tez, what's going on, man? Yeah, I know you late, but you good, man.
What's up, Ted?
But we will be back here next Wednesday. Prior to that, right before the New Year's holiday. But to everybody, won't y'all have a Merry Christmas, and like I said, a happy holiday to every single one of y'all. Be safe, man. Enjoy one another. Love each other. You got anything to say before we get out of here, Kyra? You want to go? Got anything to say before we get up out of here today?
No.
All right, everybody, continue to share, like, and subscribe. We back, so y'all looking forward to some more content, and we ain't gonna see y'all during Christmas. So Merry Christmas. So we'll see y'all next time.
Yep, next time, Unfiltered. 7:45 next Wednesday. Love each other. Be safe.